Hello people, this is Big Boss Calvin 83. I gotta read this. I'm so disgusted right now. Man, I mean everything, it seems like everything is just, you just see everything nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Everything is so obvious nowadays. For me, me personally, everything is so obvious nowadays. People say we are living in the last days. When they say that don't mean the world is coming to an end. When they say that, they say the system of Caucasian supremacy is dying, and they're dying. And if you look at the numbers of many Caucasian folks, they are dying out. They are, you people. Many people think that they are the majority. No, they're not. They are the world's minority. And even in the America 3Ks, don't get that shit twisted and fucked up, y'all. Their population is dying. Their birth rates are dying, and their kids are dying faster, and they're getting killed too. White on white crime is getting out of control with them Neanderthal thug terrorists, bitches, male and female, and children. Okay, and I'm sick and tired of seeing stuff. I am so sick and tired of seeing stuff like this. A brother, most of the time, and sometimes a sister, being wrongfully convicted for a crime they did not commit. I'll say that again. I am so sick and tired of my people, black people, especially my black brothers, getting convicted for a crime that did not happen, for a crime they did not commit. And it's always over a fucking lie, or the cops lied on them, or somebody lied on them, usually a Caucasian female. A Caucasian person sets them up. Cops always planting stuff on them, or forcing them to confess to crimes that they did not commit. You know what I'm saying? I am sick of it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sick of it. I am so tired of this shit. I'm telling y'all, every day I come across news reports like this, articles and video clips of news reports like this. And I do have some of them saved, and I'll probably put something together in the future about this. You know what I'm saying? I see a news video report about this, an article about this. I always seeing stuff like this, and I'm really sick and tired of seeing stuff like this. But I'm going to give you my perspective. Let me read the article first, okay? This is from the Chicago Tribune. Bank wouldn't deposit wrongfully convicted man's check from the state of Illinois, 23 years in prison. In case you didn't hear me, because I am outside, bank wouldn't deposit wrongfully convicted man's check from the state for 23 years in prison. This is the guy right here. Okay? This is the brother, Daryl Fulton. Okay? That's his name. This is reported yesterday. So this is new. Okay? An attorney representing a man who spent 23 years locked up for murder he didn't commit says her client was turned away twice by Chase Bank when he tried to deposit a check from the state of Illinois to compensate him for his time in prison, which is not really enough, but okay, I digress. Chase, meanwhile, said it made a mistake turning him away once, but denied doing it twice, calling the second incident this week a misunderstanding. No, it's a form of racial discrimination. Be honest. Institutional racism, and that's how these banks get down. From personal experience, this is a form of flat-out racism. But when you catch these Neanderthal devil bitches, they always try to deny it. And why do y'all, when y'all caught with your racism, why do y'all try to hide it and lie your way out of it? And you're not, and it's so obvious, especially with all these camera phones, and you keep getting busted for doing this shit. And who's doing it? And guess, the Caucasian folks are always getting busted every 5 minutes nowadays. Okay? And guess who's doing it the most? Who's getting busted for being racist? A Caucasian female, once again. Okay, but I digress. The exonerated man, Darrell Fulton, said he was proven innocent and expressed frustration with the ordeal. I really understand where this man's coming from. And I'm glad and I hope to God to be careful, be wise, to watch out for stuff like this so I don't get jammed up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to warn people about this. They can lie to you and pin shit on you and set you up, and your life is over. And we don't have the numbers to get ourselves out in the power, but we do, but we don't work together and stick together. But I'll address that at the end of this news report. I'm trying to deposit my check, Fulton said. I just wanted to be treated like everyone else. I'm sorry, dude. You're a black man in America. 3Ks. Don't get that shit twisted and fucked up, y'all. You will never be seen as human. And I'm gonna tell you why, man. I mean, they don't see you as human. You don't matter to them. They think they're better than you, and at the same time, they envy you and obsess over you, and always stealing from you and using you for their own agenda, to maintain their wealth that they stole from privilege and prestige and power. And a lot of us black folks are guilty in maintaining the system of Caucasian supremacy because we don't control our damn dollar. But I'm gonna explain more of that after I'm done reading this. Kathleen Zeller criticized Chase for not allowing Fulton to deposit a $169,000 $876 check from the state and its bank branch on 79th Street and Click-Zero Avenue. I guess that's how you say it. Questioning whether racism played a part. My answer, hell yes it did, but I digress. The first time Fulton tried to deposit the money, Zellner, my bad, I've been saying the name. Kathleen Zellner said, hold on a second. Kathleen Zellner, this is the woman who's representing him. Okay, where was I? Okay. The first time Fulton tried to deposit the money, Zellner said, the bank said she would have to endorse the check because her firm's name was under his, though Fulton's name was on the pay order above. I told you it was a Caucasian female. I told you it's a Caucasian supremacist female. But y'all people, y'all dudes and you dumbass females who want to march with them and help them out with their causes, y'all don't fucking listen. But I digress. Especially you Negro females. Y'all talk about women's empowerment and all this blah, 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 blah. But they always protect their male counterpart. Y'all always throw your male counterpart underneath the fucking bus. You always helping and aiding and protecting the Caucasian female. Y'all talk about brothers and lusting after them, but y'all know different because y'all try to imitate them, emulate them, walk like them, talk like you, and try to be like them and try to get their acceptance. I'm always fighting for their so-called bullshit struggles, which they don't have no fucking struggles because they are white or white identified, as they would say it. They're all Caucasian female. There's no struggle, okay? There's no oppression. When they say I'm a woman, I'm oppressed, that's bullshit. Because look at history, look at history at what they have done to us as a people based on her fucking lies and running her mouth and starting shit and always behind and just you know, how do I say it? Just encouraging her and enabling her male counterpart to behave badly and do bad shit, and she benefits off of it. She's always talking shit about y'all, disrespecting us, terrorizing us and harassing us. But y'all can't see that. And then she want to cry white bitch tears when she gets caught, like that bitch out in Connecticut, you know, who worked for Yale and was a student at Yale, grad student, and how she called the cops on that sister just because she studied her ass off and fell asleep and tried to get her harmed and murdered. Y'all better wake up. But let me finish, because my battery's dying. Okay, let me hurry up. Okay, let me feel. Okay, here we are. Okay, here I am. This is this part. Zellner said the law firm's name was on the check because it was mailed to her office. The second time Zellner said Chase contended Fulton sign above her name and the check would need to be deposited in her account. Zellner got on the phone with the bank, but employees wouldn't deposit it, she said, because they don't want you to have nothing. They don't want your black ass to have nothing. That's why they're doing it like that. Systematic racism, but I digress. In a statement, Chase said it should have accepted Fulton's check during its initial visit. That's the reason why they didn't do it in the first place, because he's a black man in America, and y'all racist. If he was a Caucasian, and do you know how many counterfeit checks, fake checks, forged checks? Do you know how much financial theft? You know what I'm saying? Do you know how many times Caucasians have brought in fraudulent checks, fake checks, counterfeit, whatever the hell? Makes all time fake money, and they have been busted, but they can't see for the fact that it's them making these financial fraud, committing bank fraud and insurance fraud and all that shit. I'm back. Now let me pick up where I left off at. In a statement, Chase said it, in quotes, should have accepted Fulton's check during his initial visit. The bank did not specify address, rather Fulton's race was a factor. Everybody knows it was obvious. It was an obvious factor. Quotes again, in quotes, we did not offer to deposit the check on his return visit and have reached out to him to clear up any confusion, the bank said. We regret the error and apologize for the inconvenience. No, you're not sorry for the inconvenience of being racist. You do not regret what you have done. You still chase Bank of America, all these Caucasian supremacist-owned banks, owned by Caucasian supremacists. These Caucasian-owned banks do not regret anything. They are not sorry. They keep being racist, and who's leading the charge of that racism is always Caucasian females. You always discriminate against black people, but yet you want our money. Y'all have a lot of nerve. Y'all have benefited, you motherfuckers have benefited off our pain and suffering, off the backs of slaves. You have benefited off of free labor multiple times, from slavery, Jim Crow, and all the way down to currently with the prison industrial complex. Okay? Y'all, you pale-skinned monkey devils are not sorry. So you always try to inconvenience us and fuck us over. And I got a solution to that, but let me finish. Zellner disputed that Chase offered to accept the check. Yeah, because they got busted for being racist. I digress. She said he will be changing banks and that he took a new check from her client account that he can deposit. Fulton's check comes from a state fund for wrongfully imprisoned people. Zellner has represented numerous wrongfully convicted men. You know how long, oh my God, that's so, it just tells you how racist and misandric this society is, but I digress. Zellner has represented numerous wrongfully convicted men, and she said she's never had a problem with her client depositing their checks before. Oh, I see. I see. That's because most of her clients are Caucasian males who actually got jammed up by the system too. I guess the Caucasian female was lying on him too. You know, I mean, believe it or not, you know, you'd be surprised how many Caucasian males get jammed up in the system by these lying Caucasian females too. They do it to them too. You know, when they get real mad, they start shit with them too. Yeah, which is interesting, but I digress. White on white crime, I guess. I find it particularly outrageous. This is in quotes. I find it particularly outrageous because he was wrongfully convicted, Zellner said. The check is from the state of Illinois to him, and I can't attribute any reason except they're discriminating against him because he's a black male. Duh. Fulton, released from prison in November, has been working at a factory in the near western suburbs. So I guess I guess they're talking about November of 2017, and I guess they're talking about, I'm not sure what part of Illinois, I'm pretty sure it's in the Chicagoland area. Don't quote me, but I'm just guessing. This goes to tell you right here. Fulton spent 23 years behind bars for the 1994 slaying of Aunt Winnica Bridgman, who disappeared after her 20th birthday party in Englewood. I guess that's how you say Englewood. I guess that's how it's pronounced. 2 weeks after Bridgman disappeared, Fulton's co-defendant Neves Coleman found her body in an abandoned basement of the Englewood home where he lived with his family, and Coleman's mother called authorities. That was a big ass mistake, but I digress. No physical evidence have ever linked Coleman and Fulton to the attack. A Chicago Tribune review of court records and police reports found both men say they were coerced into confessing by detectives with a history of alleged misconduct and immediately recanted. So basically they were bullied into saying to confess to something they didn't do because they're too lazy to go find out who really did it and solve the murder. a waste of taxpayers' money, and I bet you money that the real murderers are still alive and roaming and living their lives free and enjoying their lives right now. And they're not. They're wrongfully convicted individuals. Lazy ass motherfuckers, so I tell you. Both men say they were coerced into confessing by detectives with a history of alleged misconduct and immediately recanted. They each describe abuse of at the hands of Chicago police officers. They should be liable for this, and they should be in jail for that type of harassment and terrorist bullying. But I digress. Fulton and Coleman were sentenced to life in prison for the murder, but recently discovered DNA evidence matched a serial rapist. Prosecutors dropped charges against the men last winter, and in March, a Cook County judge awarded the men certificates of innocence. Each man has a civil rights lawsuit pending against the city of Chicago. I hope they win that too. In the time since their release, Coleman returned to his old job as a groundskeeper with the Chicago White Sox, generating national headlines and an ESPN documentary. I mean, it's funny how with these cases is that why I can understand times were different. I grew up in the 90s. I mean, people were doing DNA tests back then. How come when it comes to black men, we don't get when it comes to black men mainly, we don't get no DNA evidence. Nobody checks our DNA. Nobody double checks, triple checks, unlike these Caucasian suspects or Caucasian folks who are innocent of whatever they're accused of. In this country, in this Caucasian supremacist establishment, you are guilty until they continue to say you're guilty. And then after a while, they'll say they're innocent because they have a guilty conscience later in life. Like that bitch that got Emmett Till murdered, okay? Carolyn Dunham, whatever the hell her name is. I hope she rests in hell for the rest of her life. And suffer, and her children and grandchildren suffer in that pain. And karma whoops their ass badly. And they get the same treatment. Yeah, I said it. And if they find her, she needs to suffer and die. With a brutality style, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just so sick and tired of this shit. I'm telling you, I'm sick and tired of seeing us in pain and suffering. But we got to take responsibility, my people. You know why? You should have, I'm pretty sure he could have found a black-owned bank. This is what I'm talking about. We don't have no pride, and we don't invest in each other. We don't support our own businesses. We don't even start our own businesses. Yeah, I'm starting to see that more now, but it should have never got to that point. We should have did it during the fight in the 60s, and 70s. We should have kept our own back in the 50s and before. In previous generations, black people had their own establishments, their own businesses, their own towns, and they were actually more wealthy than the average Caucasian person. You know what I'm saying? Than other Caucasian neighborhoods. Black people like Tulsa, Oklahomas. We know what happened to that with that terrorism and the Black Holocaust, Rosewood, Florida, Springfield, Illinois, and I can go on. Due to a racist bitch lying on a black person, lying on a black man, and they know she lying. And chances are she was being abused by another Caucasian male, and she didn't want to turn him in. I don't understand why women always give cover to these type of thugs. Oh, you're not gonna throw your own man underneath the bus, but you're gonna go after us because we're easy targets. That's being a complete pussy ass bitch. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. What else do I want to say before I end this video? If y'all, black people, let me know when y'all get sick and tired When y'all get sick and tired, y'all not really sick and tired. Because if y'all were, y'all would be telling your children, become lawyers, doctors, judges, teachers. You know what I'm saying? Our own business owners, entrepreneurs, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what we need. Instead of telling your children, especially your boys, oh, play basketball, be like LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, and Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? No, be like these. Play football and get a $1 million contract. But you know, you're still now you are still property of that establishment, of that corporation. You don't have no freedom. Look at what they did to Colin Kaepernick. Okay, that tells you something. And other pro athletes, other brothers who spoke out against injustice and racism and Caucasian supremacy and exposed white privilege. Look at what Look at what they did to those brothers. You know what I'm saying? And some of them sisters. You know, stop telling your children pick up a basketball. How about pick up a book of truth, of knowledge? Don't tell them to read the Bible. Read a book about our history, our culture. You know what I'm saying? You can look it up over on your. I know some of these kids have phones and computers. Okay. Look up your real history. Stop sending your kids to these white schools, okay? Or in public school in general. No. Let's build our own schools, you know what I'm saying? Fund our own institutions, okay? Or better yet, homeschool your children if you can. Start instilling pride and self-love and lead by example and educate your kids about who they are. And embrace yourself. Stop trying to assimilate and trying to be like Caucasian folks and trying to move into their neighborhoods. Even though they got you know, they have that wealth stolen from our backs of free labor from us as being slaves. You know, back in the slave days and the Jim Crow days. You know what I'm saying? Even now to this day, they're still making money off of us, and we allow it. Stop celebrating these holidays like the 4th of July, known as the 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? Stop celebrating and honoring Thanksgiving, St. Patrick's Day. You know what I'm saying? President's Day. That don't mean shit to you. The only thing you should probably honor is Memorial Day because black people started it. Black people who fought in the military for this country and still got treated like shit. Okay? You honoring Valentine's Day. All these colonizers' traditions of them hurting us, harming us, raping us, stealing from us, robbing us, and killing us inhumanely, committing genocide on us, stealing our land and resources, and calling it theirs, and stealing our intellectual property. Why? Stop doing that. Stop going to white-owned stores. Stop shopping at establishments and spending your money and making these non-blacks, mainly Caucasian folks, and sometimes Asian folks, and Mexicans down the road, wealthy, okay? Stop making them wealthy. Stop working for them and start working for you and work for your own people, man. Work with your people, I mean. Start banking black. Bank with black, find black-owned banks and put your money in there. Deposit your money there. Invest in a black bank if you can. We need to, okay? Stop, all these banks participated in the slave trade and got black dollars off of the backs of black people working their asses off for free, forced to. It never got reparations, but everybody else did. Be black first. Stop fighting for all these other movements that are owned and controlled by non-blacks, mainly Caucasians. Stay away from the feminist movement. Stay away from, the LGBT movement, the gay, lesbian movement, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender movement. Stay the fuck away from that. You are black first regardless. Stay away from the MRA men's movement. Stay away from these movements. Stay away from these white-owned organizations like the National Organization for Women. And, stop supporting parties like the Democrat and voting Democratic when that hasn't worked. How about we be independent and have our own political party? Stop trying to work with these fake-ass, closet racists, staunch Caucasian supremacists on the down low, white liberals they call themselves. If you're that really sick and tired, buy cars that are owned by us. We don't even make our own cars. We don't even, but we built it. They came up with our ideas and it was hijacked to build a car, build a vehicle. Okay? We don't even have cars that are manufactured by black people in Africa, specifically. Everywhere we shop, it's owned by somebody that's not black. We need to invest in ourselves. We need to be self-sufficient and stop with this praying and God and all that stuff and, following the Bible. That's killing us too. Learn how to be a good Negro for massa. That keeps you in bondage religion. Stay away from that any European religion, you stay the hell away from it. Stay away from their teachings and don't buy into their ideologies. Embrace your own values from your ancestors, from black folks, from Africa, your roots, wherever the hell you came from. Everything came from Africa, believe it or not, even if you don't have no ancestors in Africa, okay, which is rare, but okay. We got to have pride. We got to take a stand. Other than that, we'll continue to be in pain and suffering. It's like this. How many times have we told women, if you stay with that man who's beating your ass, he ain't going to stop. You need to stand up for yourself and get the fuck out. If he did it once, he'll do it again. Well, what do you think is going on here? When it comes to us being bullied, rather be in school, work, and then just in public in general, cops, in general, just in these establishments that are owned and controlled by Caucasian folks and other non-Caucasian folks. Until we stand up for ourselves, collectively, work together, collectively, have our back and stay in code, collectively work together as a team and stop cutting each other's throats to impress these non-blacks who don't give a fuck about us. Until we love ourselves and respect ourselves, fuck all this black gender war shit and all this colorisms and all this crap and rich haves and the have-nots. Stop all that crap. That's a distraction. I'm Christian and you're not, and you're pro-black and all that unconscious. Stop all that crap. We all need to come together, and that's the only way we can win and overthrow the system. Stop working with the system. It's not made up for us. It's never been built for us and designed to benefit us, just to hurt us and kill us. The only way we can the only way we get respect is you have to conquer. You see where I'm going with this? You got to beat your oppressor to get power and wealth and prestige and prosperity. Think about what I'm telling you. Peace.